Hello my dear friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the court supervised mediation in the Ayodhya case. So coming to the current affair, the Supreme Court, the apex court of the country, had ordered a court supervised mediation to resolve the Ram janmabhoomi-Babri Masjid land dispute case, or the popularly known as the Ayodhya case. So the Supreme Court has given a time of 8 weeks in order to resolve this issue through mediation. So we will discuss about this issue in detail in this lecture. Now before we begin, this is our channel StudyIQ and we are providing pen drive courses for various competitive examinations including SSC bank courses, UPSC optionals, SSC JE courses, teaching examinations, railway examinations, defense examinations, RBI grade B, NABARD grade A, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, CLAT exams for various state PSCs and also for various professional courses. You can visit our website www.studyiq.com for more details, or you can call to any of these numbers for more information. Now coming to the core dispute, the dispute over the site, that is the Ram Janmabhoomi or the Ayodhya site, started or is continuing since 1949. And in this regard, a 16th century mosque that stood at the Ayodhya was torn down by Hindutva fanatics in December 1992. And after the demolition of the Babri Masjid, the President of India referred this matter to the Supreme Court. And the President referred this matter to Supreme Court, and the purpose of the reference was that the court should look into the issue and the court should answer the question of whether there was a temple to Lord Ram before the mosque was built at the site. So the basic question was that whether the temple or the mosque, which one was built first. So that was the question and the court had to look into this matter. So this question was presented, or this case was presented to the Supreme Court by the President of the country. So the court, in a landmark judgment in 1994, declined to go into the question. So the court was not ready to accept this question which was referred by the President to the court. So the court did not want to interfere in this, and the court in the landmark judgment of 1994 mentioned that it did not want to get involved into the religious sentiments of the people. Now again, the Supreme Court had recently taken up appeals against the 2010 verdict of the Allahabad High Court, and the verdict of Allahabad High Court in this regard in the year 2010 was that there should be a three-way division of the disputed side. So the 2010 judgment of the Allahabad High Court was challenged in the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is going to hear the matter or the appeal from Allahabad High Court, which gave a verdict for three-way division of the disputed land. Now coming to the recent order of the Supreme Court, we have seen in the beginning itself that the Supreme Court has ordered a court supervised mediation in order to resolve the Ram Janmabhoomi-Babri Masjid land dispute. So coming to the recent order of the Supreme Court, the court has sought the views of the parties involved on invoking section 89 of the CPC. So section 89 of CPC, that is Code of Civil Procedure, deals with mediation. So section 89 of the section 89 of the Code of Civil Procedures deals with mediation, and now the Supreme Court has asked or seek the views of parties for invoking section 89 of CPC. Now briefly about section 89. Under the section 89 of CPC, the court can order for a settlement among the parties. And in this regard, the court may reformulate the terms of a possible settlement, and the court can refer the same for either arbitration, conciliation, judicial settlement or mediation. Now the 5-judge constitution bench finally went for the last option, that is mediation, and appointed a 3-member mediation panel in order to mediate this issue. So the 5-judge Constitutional Bench has come with the verdict of constituting a mediation panel with 3 members, and the chairman of the panel would be Supreme Court former judge retired Justice FMI Khalifullah. And apart from the chairman, there are also 2 other members. The other 2 members are the spiritual guru Sri Ravi Shankar and the other member is a senior advocate Sriram Panchu. And the mediation proceedings will be held in camera in Faridabad, and the Supreme Court has barred both print media and electronic media from reporting the proceedings of the mediation. And to ensure the success of the mediation process, the Supreme Court has issued directions that there should be utmost confidentiality. So, utmost confidentiality should be maintained during the proceedings of the mediation. So, a majority of the Hindu bodies except the Nirmohi Akhara have opposed the mediation, while the Muslim bodies have supported it. So we will see that majority of the Hindu bodies like various associations, various trusts, various organizations have opposed this mediation, but the Muslim bodies are in favor or are in support of this mediation. Now this is briefly about the court order. Now coming to how effective it would be, we will analyze how effective this mediation can be. So basically mediation is an option for those involved in prolonged civil disputes. So in this case of Ayodhya also, we will see that this is a prolonged civil dispute. It has lasted for many years. So mediation is definitely a welcome step. But the question is that whether the option of mediation can be applied in all the cases, especially in the Ayodhya issue where the religious sentiment of two communities are involved. So if we analyze whether this mediation can be effective in case of Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi dispute, we will see that there were many past attempts of mediation, and many of the past attempts of mediation have become a failure in this case. And the second fact to be considered is that the case is ripe for final hearing. So we have seen that the verdict of Allahabad High Court was challenged in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to hear the final appeal or the final hearing in this case. So at a time when the final hearing is due, whether mediation will work out or not is the second question. And the third thing, one controversy that is involved in this mediation is that the inclusion of spiritual leader Sri Ravi Shankar has made a controversy. This is because in the past Sri Ravi Shankar has made a remark in this case saying that Muslims ought to give up their claim and that the failure to find a negotiated settlement will result in a civil war. So he had given a controversial statement in the past, and the inclusion of Sri Ravi Shankar in this mediation panel has created a conflict. Now we will also see that not all parties have favored this mediation process, because the Hindus, majority of the groups are against the mediation process while Muslims are in support of it. So here itself there is a divide between both these communities. So taking all these factors into consideration, whether this mediation will be effective or not is the question. Now we will understand why the order of the Supreme Court is welcome, or what is the rationale of the Supreme Court when it gave this verdict of a mediation or invoking section 89 of the CPC. So we will see the rationale of the Supreme Court. Firstly, we will see that the President earlier had referred this matter to the Supreme Court, but that time the Supreme Court did not take this matter into consideration because Supreme Court did not want to involve in the religious sentiments of the people. So the first reason why this is a welcome move by the Supreme Court is that the Supreme Court itself is not keen on pronouncing the judgment. The Supreme Court somehow wants to settle this dispute through some mediation rather than giving a judgment in this regard. The reason is that the Ayodhya issue is less of a legal nature. So the legal nature of the issue is less, but it is more a matter of sentiments and faith. So remember what happened in the Sabarimala case. The Supreme Court had given its verdict, and this had led to many communal issues in the state of Kerala. So Supreme Court is trying to resolve the issue of Ayodhya through mediation, because Supreme Court doesn't want to involve in a matter which deals mainly with sentiments and faith of people. And the second reason is that mediation can result into a compromise among both the parties, and this kind of a compromise would be preferable for the court, because if court is giving a verdict, one side may be aggrieved. So the compromise part or the mediation would be a preferred option for the court, and also it will consume lesser time because the court has given 8 weeks of time for the mediation panel. So it will also consume lesser time. Now we have seen that this Ayodhya case started very long back, and it has consumed a lot of time in different courts, and then finally it has reached the Supreme Court also. And also the court has given a confidentiality rule for this mediation. So this confidentiality clause of this verdict will be helpful in avoiding any kind of unrest with premature disclosures, especially this is the election time, and various political parties can play caste and community cards. So this confidentiality rule shall also be helpful in avoiding any kind of unrest relating to this issue. So this is why the Supreme Court has suggested for a mediation. Now you can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page, and also all my lecture updates shall be available on my Facebook page. And you can get in touch with me at joyshi.studyiq@gmail.com for any of your queries, doubts regarding your UPSC preparations. Thank you.